Hey, what's up, everybody? Ryan Greenspan here again with another edition of At Home with Dynasty. This time we have Yosh Rau, my longtime friend, pal. I did call Alex my longtime pal also, and he got a little offended. So I will say one of my best friends and longest running teammates, Yosh Rau. I've known him since kindergarten. I think we've known each other since kindergarten. I know we went to kindergarten together.
Yeah, it could have been preschool, actually. I don't know if the name Grasshopper Green preschool rings
That's
any
right.
bells with you, but I'm pretty sure we were all around the same carpet there too.
Wow, that's so funny. Yes, Grasshopper Green. It was right down the street, right on the corner, across. Was it across from the that little that
From the old
store?
deli, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we grew up.
Hey, that happens.
Oh, it burned down.
It looked like it. Yeah, last time I was up there and driving around in Savannah.
Bummer. So many memories, obviously.
Yep, indeed.
So what I think a handful of people who are probably watching this know a little bit of the history, but so we've been playing since I'd say, was it mid 90s or let's call it late 90s?
Yeah, I mean, I first went to a paintball field, which was Paintball Hill up in Lake County, to go for my brother's birthday party. And I was pretty young. I think I may have been too young to play at that time. You had to be like 12 or something. I was probably 10. And then later on, I was able to go to Paintball Hill and play a little bit there. That must have been mid 90s. And then, shortly after that, we kind of collectively realized that we both liked paintball and were interested in it, and quickly started playing in your backyard with limited equipment, but great time.
I obviously I didn't go with you guys the very first time you went, but I do remember driving in with my brother. Your brother had that huge boat car, driving down those windy roads in the back, and it was terrifying.
Yeah,
not the drive.
It was like a '76 Chrysler New Yorker. It had basically a giant 3-seater sofa as the back seat, and yeah, it didn't corner really well, but yeah, I mean, playing for the first time, walk-ons in the woods, or up there was a lot of scrub brush. There was a pond that you could go in if you wanted to, and there's a lot of tulies around that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was an experience. I think it was probably pretty consistent with a lot of people's first experience of playing paintball, where there's a big mix of emotions. Now we go out and things feel sometimes, I guess, maybe more normal on the paintball field than they do in our, at home or whatever. But the first day you go out, there's a lot of uncertainty, and yeah, a little bit of fear. At least there was for me. I didn't know what it was going to be like to get shot, or how many times I was going to get shot, and it was like a true feeling of adventure. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I remember it so distinctly because obviously we might have been 15 or 14 or something like that weekend or that day at Paintball Hill. So obviously we didn't have pockets full of loot by any means. My mom probably gave me 20 or 40 bucks, or I mowed a bunch of lawns or something like that. But I remember going there and you could get a pump gun for like 25 bucks, or you could upgrade to the VM68 for 45 or 40 or whatever it was. We didn't have enough money for the other one. So we had like the small goggles, right? We had the pump guns, and everybody else was like, yeah, I'll take the VM68s, and it was just such a disadvantage. And again, terrifying.
Yeah, there was a big difference in firepower then. I mean, I think for us also, the idea of going and playing paintball with, maybe 200 paintballs for the day and trying to make that last, another big difference from when we started playing to where we are now. And we have, great sponsorship, and just the expectation you want to play a lot. And in order to do that, for a lot of stuff, you have to shoot a lot of paint.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And even when we were coming over to my house, like every day after school, we would ration like 100 paintballs, and that would last us several hours running around in the bushes. Right. And then we build some more bunkers, and we just kind of get creative, and we literally played in my backyard. And I think I'm I might have had like a little over an acre of land, but we only played in that one little corner, and it was just two big piles of bushes, one on each side of the other. And we dig shovels and we'd
Yep.
dig some things, and we'd find an old hay bale and some old pieces of wood.
Maybe there was a spool or some pieces of plywood out there that we could lean up. And it definitely, I mean, it, you know, it achieved the same thing that we get on weekends of play now. You know, you still got that rush. You're still having a great time playing with friends. There's still, you know, a challenge. Like you said, 100 paintballs to share for everybody, and then a couple trash can lids and some tennis balls covered in mud. And, you know, that was our game.
Well, that's actually one of my favorite parts about what we did, is because no one else really had paintball guns, but they all wanted to play paintball. So we'd like be as creative as possible. And like, so like you said, some people, we didn't even have water balloons. We just had Ziploc bags with water in them. And then the person would also have a trash can lid. And if like you got water splashed on you, you're out.
You're out. Yeah. And if were lucky enough to have the paintball gun for that round, you might get, you know, 5 or 10 paintballs. You know, if you ran out of tennis balls or Ziploc bags full of water, you probably resort to throwing dirt clods. But yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, and also I think because it was so much fun, and like you had the Connollys and the neighbor kids would get involved, and at least for our school, it got like a pretty big group of kids involved with paintball, and we were just able to play in our backyards and kind of transition to a group of kids that all had paintball guns, and we had the space to play, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and then we because then you and I got jobs. I kind of explained this. I went over it with Alex a little bit. We were working in what essentially was a sweatshop in the attic above the paintball field. So yeah, we were up in that small attic, and basically I don't want to call it modern day sweatshop, building titanium pump arms and screwing in tiny little nothing screws into what are those 3-way actuating rods or whatever they're called.
Yep, you nailed it. Putting tiny O-rings on 3-way shafts. I know we were polishing titanium parts. I actually still got a good scar here on my wrist from the polishing wheel there. But yeah, I mean, it was like our way in to being able to play paintball on a regular basis. So, you know, it was like it definitely, looking back, it was interesting to be, you know, in those types of conditions. I think a lot of young people, when they start working, especially if they have an opportunity to do something that they like or work within the hobby or the industry that they like when they're young, would do that. You know, I think that was a cool thing that we were able to participate in. But there are certainly some quirky things about it.
Yeah, well, that's to say the least. You know what I mean? But that opened the door to where we are now, and like we met Alex and Oliver in the shop. They were the cocky kids from Marin County that would always come up every so often and buy buy some paintball gear and just browse around and kind of talk shit.
Yeah, they could load up. You know, we got to meet other pros in there too. You know, Billy worked, and he was kind of like the main tech there at the time. Eric Roberts. You know, lots of wrestling matches on the floor of the sales room. Good times. But yeah, it really was like working at Pacific Paintball and Kick-Ass Paintball Products was kind of our bridge to meeting, you know, our other best friends and longtime teammates. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, like, so I was explaining to everybody when I was talking to Alex about how we had to run around the street in our underwear in order to be able to purchase a paintball gun for like wholesale price out of the money that we worked for credit in. You know what I mean? Like, we were getting paid $5 an hour in credit, and then they extended this gracious offer of selling us product with our credit at wholesale.
Yeah, it was a pretty awesome deal for a couple of teenage punk kids, you know, but not a good deal now. But you know, yeah, it was fun. We did some stupid stuff, you know. Ate a whole carton of night crawlers from the bait shop around the corner, and got some free lunches, got some CO2 fills out of that. You know, did whatever we could to try to get what we needed to play.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's
night crawlers.
No, that's right. And speaking of like meeting the pros I mean, I guess we didn't once we had graduated from that and we had actually shown some value in our individual paintball skills with the owner of the store. We had graduated from having to do the silly things to now playing with him and alongside of him, and that's what we kind of like. We met Bob Long. We played against the Ironman. I told the story about how I almost shot Davy's teeth out at the in Mare Island.
Yeah, I think Davey still remembers that story pretty well too. You know, but yeah, I mean, Mare Island was just another place, and certainly a big part of our history, just where we got to meet more players that wanted to compete the same way we wanted to compete, and gave us, you know, just helped us to get to that next level. You know, whether it was practicing against them or with them or playing walk-ons or just talking with them about, you know, tournament experience and stuff. It was really great to go around.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the more ancient traditions of the sport.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so I don't know if many people who are going to be watching this remember what the Automag was. And the Automag was your very first kind of tournament level high end gun. But then you got that nickel plated autococker. So I wanted to like kind of, I guess, yeah, explain that, and then show me your force and how the two of them kind of. I'm assuming that's your inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us being at the shop, working in the retail showroom, and then going out to the field and getting to, you know, play alongside or play against people that had come into the shop and bought, you know, their high end setups and had bought everything that we had. And like, if you want the best stuff, this is what you're gonna be looking at here. You know, it was cool. I mean, we got to put our hands on all sorts of amazing gear and technology that came into the store environment. And at some point, this nickel-plated STO autococker from War Games Products came in, and to me, it was like, oh, it was like the coolest looking gun that I had ever seen. And I thought there were, you know, a number of the pro guys in our area were shooting like nickel-plated cockers. I know some of the Iron Men were, and like Brad Mon had a really cool one. And so, you know, I started working on building up my credits at the store, my work hours, and eventually, you know, got my hands on one of those nickel-plated autocockers. And that gun has always, you know, been in my mind as like the first really nice piece of paintball gear that I bought. And, you know, it's memorable. I mean, I've shot a lot of different guns, a ton of different platforms, and had some really cool designs, you know, through the years, through like, you know, our team sponsorship and being able to do signature series guns. But that nickel plating, you know, has kind of a special, warm reflectiveness to it. That's like, for me, it's kind of unforgettable. So when I was able to come up with, you know, how I wanted my signature series force to look, and the idea of doing a blast nickel plated force became a reality. You know, it was something that I for sure was like, all right, well, that's definitely going to be my choice. Let's see if we can pull it off. And so we tested a few, and the nickel plating holds up really well, and the guns look amazing. So actually, I've got one here. Of course, I have one right here to show. But yeah, I mean, they look super sharp. Like I said, they kind of have like an interesting reflective quality to them. But I mean, it looks kind of white in some lights and kind of gold in some lights. But you know, came out really, really great looking. So I'm really happy about it. And I'm excited when we finally do get to release these and get them in, you know, some people's hands that want to play with them.
Yeah, and that's so cool, because the moment the second I saw that, because I didn't get to see, well, pretty much you and Alex were the only ones who got to see what everybody's designs were until you came to practice with them, and you're like, here's everybody's designs, and we all looked around like, oh, yours is so cool, that one's rad, look at Arturo's, and well, I wish I did mine like Tyler's. And when I saw yours, I immediately knew, because I remember the day that thing came in too, and it was kind of sitting on the side wall, like on the north facing wall, and just kind of sitting there for a while. And that was really memorable for me too. I just think that it's such a cool way to kind of tie basically where we started and where we're at right now. And that's such a cool deal. Like, I think I don't know. I'm very nostalgic for that gun as well. Like, yours might be my favorite as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you feel that way. I definitely think just choosing that finish is a kind of a nostalgic choice, but they look great. I mean, I'm really stoked with how all the Signature Series guns came out. I mean, the samples looked great. Ryan Hall at Arc Anodizing, got to give him a big shout out, because he took basically what were just concepts in our minds, and each player, each individual has an idea of like what they want, and then they get to describe that, and then working with us, he gets to try to decipher exactly what that's going to look like on a paintball gun.
Sure.
And he works with kind of within the confines of that, but he came out with some really, really great designs for the concepts that the guys had, and so it's cool. I'm really excited for those to get out there, and for people to be able to have kind of a connection with each of the Dynasty players. You can buy his gun, his concept, and he's gonna basically share why he chose that type of pattern or color or whatever, and kind of what his inspiration was. And I think that's going to be a cool connection to all the players out there.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, when I mean, because I want to know, when are people gonna maybe possibly be able to expect to even get their hands on them?
So we're getting very close to that. We have the first production run of the Signature Series Forces out at Anodizing right now. The first run that a lot of people saw on social media and saw the team playing with at the Vegas event, those were samples. Obviously, you know all this, but just so that everyone can kind of get the picture of what's going on. Those are samples. Basically, the players got their sample, were able to approve or make some little changes to them for their future production runs, and those guns are in process right now. So we're hoping to get those back within the next couple of weeks, and then they'll hit the assembly table here at the shop in California, and we'll build them up. Each gun will be built and tuned and tested by either Alex Frazee or myself here at the shop, and then we'll start getting them out there into the world. So we don't have an exact date, just because we don't know exactly when those guns are coming back from the anodizing shop. But as soon as they get here, we'll have a release scheduled, so everybody gets their chance to try to get one of the first run, and then we'll certainly make more runs of them, because I know they're going to be popular, and especially at first, it may be hard for people to get their hands on them, but we'll fulfill that for people. Looking at a couple of weeks, I think.
Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting, because I know a lot of people are asking me about it. Do you have Alex's gun? Actually, you have two colors there, I think, with you. Because I want to ask. Yeah, I want to ask what's in the pipeline. Oh, go ahead.
Right. So I've got Alex's gun here as well, just so people can have a look at the gun that Alex chose. He chose kind of a distressed or washed gloss blue. You can see it came out, super glossy. And he'll share, I'm sure, what his inspiration was for it, but I think he stayed true to the Dynasty colors, and I feel like you can't go wrong with that. And for lack of a better term, he bleeds blue when it comes to the team, and so this is a good representation of what he would choose. And then we actually have released a new colorway for our stock forces as well. I know we put out some pictures, and they're available on the Field One website, as well as at a number of your authorized Field One dealers. But people wanted gloss guns. We got a ton of messages and a ton of feedback that people wanted us to bring back the gloss guns. So we relaunched the gloss black Force. We released this gloss purple with dust black parts, and they're available now. We've gotten a ton of good feedback. We've shipped some out. There's still a few left here, so we're going to keep building them. Potentially do another small run of them, but right now they're They're limited stock and they look sweet. I mean, I've heard a big kind of a wide array of comments, but the one I liked the most was that this was a very Mace Windu-esque color choice, and I think that sits well.
Yeah, I like that purple too, because I mean, I wasn't expecting it, because I know that we were doing kind of the matte finish stuff, and a lot of people really wanted the gloss. So I think that's something that's really important that I want people to kind of take in there. Two things. One is we're such a small artisan shop that Alex and Yosh are on the field testing the guns at the highest level. We all are on Dynasty, but on top of that,
right,
you guys are building the guns. You're signing every card that goes out. So when someone opens the gun up, they can see when it was built, the born on date essentially, and then who built it between you or Alex. And I think that's really cool. And you have a almost direct line to us. We listen to the comments, we look at everything. Someone says, a ton of people say we want gloss parts. A lot of people say, what about this and how about that? And I feel like we do a pretty good job of not only getting back to people, but listening to what our customers and our fan base wants.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's important for people to know that, because we like feedback. I mean, we come from obviously not a manufacturing or engineering background, but we come from being players, and with that comes heavy use of the equipment and a constant need to tweak things and develop things to keep improving on our product, whether it's function or look, comfort, any characteristic that a player has to consider when they're making a purchase of a gun or choosing what they're going to compete with. So we love the feedback. We are able to make choices and pivot because we're a small company and a small shop, and so that's people wanted to go off where we can pivot and give people what they want, and the feedback is great. I mean, we're constantly trying to develop and improve our product, and that's, I think, going to be our mission going forward. Always keep pushing it and trying to get the most comfortable, most reliable, best shooting platform out there, and get it into the hands of our team, and in doing that, get into the hands of other teams and players out there too.
Yeah, and I mean that's the next step right there, is making sure that that everybody, we tweak where we can, but everybody out there has an opportunity to test it out and get it in their hands. Like we want everybody to feel it and enjoy it and use it to the best of their ability. So, well, thank you very much, Yosh.
Just people being able to, try ours out and shoot them. I think more and more of these guns are showing up at local fields and getting into people's local shops, and that's cool. People can get their hands on them and try them out, and we've been getting some really good positive feedback from that too.
Well, that too, and any event that we're at, obviously, just if any of you guys are watching this, if you see us, just
come on over.
Just tell us that you're a good guy. Yeah, tell us you're a good guy. We'll let you borrow our gun. Tell us where you're trustworthy, and we'll believe you, and you can give us our gun to test drive.
Easy as that. That's right.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for taking some time today, letting everybody know about what's coming down the pipeline, sharing a little nostalgic stories from back in the day, and I'm glad that we're still in it, fighting the good fight together.
That's right. Me too. I'm grateful to have you as a teammate and a best friend, and I'm grateful that we're still doing what we love. I mean, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, I know it's a tough time for people out there, and we just, first we just want people to stay safe and stay well, and with any luck, we'll be through this thing soon, and we'll be out there, shooting at each other on the paintball field again. So. Hoping for that time soon, and looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Couldn't have said it better. Everybody stay strong, stay safe, and keep paintball on the front of your minds, and keep talking about paintball, and we'll be back out there having fun again.
That's right. Thanks, Ryan.